Actually, 86 units is the assisted living in old folks home. There's a sheet there that just shows some of the jobs, and this is kind of the show and tell book here, and we'll let Jay cycle through what he's doing there, but there's additional photos in here showing 6 flats, 9-story buildings that we've done. The neat thing about it is the same product for this simple office building that you're in, walls and floors and all of that with a brick form liner that's painted. You know, we can do, the neat thing about the product is we're doing parking structures below those. We're doing a job right now that's 4 stories of our conventional, what we call the Aurora product, which is a pre-stressed product, finished only on the outside, just like these big boxes here. And then 4 to 6 to 10 stories of the double wall.
Chris, in conjunction with our research and development manager, have really come up with some great mix designs for us. Not only for regular concrete, but also, like Brian was saying, for lightweight concrete, where we can get this down to around 120 pounds per cubic foot, and also attain a 4-hour firewall and an 8-inch panel.
Yeah.
So in a panel like this, we can get not only a 4-inch firewall, we can have 3 inches of foam in here. Each inch is a R7 per inch. So for a total of R21 in 8 inches, we get R21, 4-hour firewall, and structurally we can go as high as 15, 16 stories.
Well, the neat thing too is that that's a wall that's finished once it's set in place on both sides. So as Jay's holding his hand on the one, you can see the electrical box is the conduit that's installed. So we're demising walls. Okay, so you have demising walls, 2, 3, 4-hour rated walls. You can achieve a finished surface just like this one is once you set it in place, so you're not furring it out, and you get your sound attenuation and all that. So that's pretty slick.
And as you can see in this wall behind you here, there's electric outlets right in the wall, and those are hot, ready to go. Our offices just to the other side, they're all the outlets that we have for those are built into the precast. So.
Yeah, well, this is the first plan we've seen that use Sika. Everybody used the Kuzat. Can you explain why?
I'll explain one thing to you. When Degussa came through the other day with their tour, the people that were on the tour with them were a little surprised to see the Sika stickers. That's all I can say. He's your man to answer that question. You dealt with the Sika technical skills.
Today is Mary Day.
Yeah, I guess to answer that question, in the U.S., the Midwest, especially the Chicago market, it's a developing market. So we've really only pushed into this market in the past year.
Yeah.
So, you know, the majority of the business here is still Degussa or Master Builders as it was then.
And they will change, you think?
Yeah, we've been changing over companies
well
steadily. So.
Right, thank you.
Set for sustainability arguments.
Yes. Well, and the other thing too was cost. You know, when we were just purchasing it from, you know, brand X there, you know, we were paying so much, and by controlling and purchasing the A and B component ourselves, we charge at current prices. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna put one sheet over there, another sheet over here.
But there's 2 of them in here because it's small.
We normally have about
kind of all look at it while I'm holding it here. There's another one here. I've got to put it through.
much like the
It's fine, right?
Yeah. Now, if you look at it, it's detail number 3 here on this page. And you've got, we're looking at the bottom there where you've got a double wall. And you see the inner width and the outer width, with the inner width set down a little bit, okay? And then you've got the floor panel. So you've got the lower width of the floor panel that sets on the inner width of the wall panel. And then the upper width of that floor panel is recessed back about 5 inches. Okay? So then the next wall panel goes on top with the exterior width of the wall panel going on the exterior width of the wall panel below it. Then that interior white is castellated, like the top of a chess piece.
Yep.
Now they don't have different metric chess pieces. They still castellate the castles, right? Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Castellations we know.
And what you see there is a situation like, not unlike this panel here where you see that opening, but that castellation, we've got a money shot of it right. Yeah, you can see it there at the bottom.
Yep.
So you're seeing that bearing condition, and that castellation allows us 2 functions. One is to pull the electrical conduit that we're casting into the wall, just as you see on that sample. That shows plastic. That's a Smurf tube, we call it, named after the Smurfs.
Yeah.
Watched that as a kid. But most of the stuff here in the city of Chicago and around here is rigid, you know, metal conduit that they'll later pull wire. So you're casting in the metal boxes and the metal conduit, either chasing it up to a soppeted or down into this floor cavity, which then they pull through, and then you make a conduit connection around the perimeter. And I do have a picture of that, I believe. Okay, here you can see a corner condition on that picture that shows that 5-inch gap. And then there's a picture here. Here it is. You can see the castellation there and the conduit in there, and then this is grouted, and they're about to grout that. Okay. So that's your connection.
So all your electrical services are fitted in afterwards around there, and then you just like...
Well, they pull the wire, so now you've made your home runs around that perimeter, or the floor panels. Like there's a floor panel joint every 8, 10, 12 feet, whatever increment you're doing your floor panels, and then you can run conduit there and then pull it up into an interior walls. So, instance, if there's a floor panel here and this was a drywall wall, you can just run your electrical conduit up into here, and then they chase it in your metal stud or your wood wall. So this connection then is as I said, was two purposes. One, the castellation allows that, and then after you make your home runs, be it radiant floor heat, you see the radiant floor heat tube sticking out of the top, you'll see the radiant floor heat in this photo. We pull those out of the individual panels, we cast them into the top of that panel, of that floor panel. Okay, so that's where it is. It doesn't sit in the cavity below, it's cast in. Then you, again, pull those out, run them through the chases, bring them down to some area that you're going to chase it down to the mechanical room. We dam off, if you look at the photo here, there's a dam at the, just set back a little bit between the Ys. So after we do our conduit connections, then we're going to fill that with a high-strength grout, a ready-mix 5,000 PSI grout, and that will fill that entire, what is in essence kind of an L-shaped chase. And there's reinforcement, there's secondary trusses. Some of these things aren't shown for detail purposes, but what we do is we run the insulation, as you see here, full width, except when you get up to the very top of the bottom panel and the very bottom of the top panel. We reduce that section down to about 3/4 or an inch, so we don't have a thermal break on the outside. And then all of that gets filled up, but we still have to accommodate a joining of the bottom floor top panel. So that gets filled, and you see that in this picture here, where they have gone ahead and filled that up just about to the very top of the floor. But we recess that down about 1/4 inch, and sometimes between panels you have a set height that we pole shore, so you're level here, but up on top, you might vary by an 1/8 or 1/4 inch. So we have a recessed cavity. If we go to the detail on number 8. On number 8 on that sheet, you see the detail between floor panels. They butt up on the ceiling side, and up top they recess back 1 inch. We dam them, and then that, if you pull in conduit and grout it, that makes your connection that way. Okay.
Sorry.
And then again, we do it just about a little below level, and then they can go with a thin set to level. So if there is any disparity between the surface, they just smooth that out. And then you carpet it or tile it or hardwood floor, and do as you normally would with concrete. You want to do a floating wood slab and things like that. So that's that. If you look at this structure, all of these double wall walls, double wall floors. If this was a conventional, now generally, again, because of hardwood floor, tile and all that, you want to put a bond breaker there, so if there is differential movement in a 9-story building, you don't want to have just that slight crack through your tile.
You don't have any trouble with cracking is this whole piece one panel, or is it more?
There's a panel it goes from here to here. You can see the joint they did right there, okay? But the guys who did the drywalling here were the same guys that built the plant that are making, so they're not professionals. But if you look at the corners here, what's typical here, so from that standpoint, that's a great product, and we recommend the use of that, both on the interior as a primer coat, because it does have a shine to it. But in these buildings that we're doing here, where we've got these 6 flats and all of that, and then you can see some of the interior shots of those buildings. This is the Sika 550W on the exterior of a plain brick that's been painted. They sprayed on the 550W, which served as the the color for the banding, but it was also the background for the mortar joint, okay? And then they take a short nap roller, you know, and roll the face. And then on the interior of those, we use the same product as a primer, and then they paint it whatever color they want. In fact, you know, Chris is one of Chris's favorite colors here. This cheetah yellow. Yeah. I don't know what that's all about. So and then you could put a regular flat color like that yellow over the top. But that is the key. Precast, as we all know, is prone. Concrete in general is going to crack. So you get the hairline cracks there. Occasionally during the transport and all that, we'll see hairline cracks off the re-entrant corners on doors and windows and things like that. So the key there is you know, once it's in place, unless there's some significant settling, those hairline cracks aren't really going to go anywhere. You have a temperature variation within a room of 2 to 5 degrees, whatever. On the outside is where you really have your movement. So you use a product, a good elastomeric with enough millage there. So if there is temperature variation on a winter day where it's sunny but it's 10 degrees, 5 degrees Celsius-wise, -5 Celsius, you can do that. And so that is, I think, one of the key things is addressing the building movement at caulk joints generally in corners, and then where you do have ceiling joints is drywall taping and mudding coming back, but then using elastomeric primer on the inside that's going to move with that. I'm exaggerating, you're talking 4 mils of movement, and you got 16 mils on a 2-coat.
How much is that, an inch?
Pardon? Yeah, right.
That's full fair.
Yeah. So anyways, that's it. So I'm going to run, Jay. I'll go get the discs, and I'll leave them here on this table because you guys are going to cycle back through. And it shows you a series of these photos here of kind of before, during, and after on the construction side. And it shows some jobs like there's that big castellation shot. That's a.
Can we use those photos without copyright issues if we reference them back to you guys?
Oh yeah, as long as you reference Brian Bach and Jay Hoover, no problem. No. Yeah, you can. You know, in fact, the home builders are using that in their ad for trying to sign up people for concrete houses. If you put courtesy of Duquesne Precast, that's not a...
Tell me, just go back to the height, how high?
One final question. Does this reinforcement connection system work in seismic zones like California?
Well, fortunately, we don't have to design to that in this area. I mean, ultimately, you know, precast, concrete in general struggles with that because of the rigidity, unreinforced masonry. So that's not like the San Andreas or anything that you got in Brazil or anything like that. But we don't have to deal with those issues here.
So you looks like you've got no connection at all in rebar.
Those are things we're working on, but it's kind of proprietary.
Last question.
Especially since we're...
No, we've had the last question.
You say we need another trip, right?
We've had the
We
last
need another
question.
trip to America, right?
What's that?
You say we need another trip to America, right?
You guys definitely have to come back to America.
Show that to Rex.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Chris organized.
You can get the Hooter, never mind. No, it's just right down the road. It's right down the road. Okay, well,
Next time.
you have any other questions?
Going down the other end, kind of an everything catch-all, end-all. The double wall plane with next set of doors, and in there, I'll ask you to turn your video camera off and everything else once we go through that door over there.
I don't know whether Nick knows how to turn it off, does he?
Yeah, you can take photographs in this section if you want. Once again, this is kind of
Andrew, look how they clean the mold.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Position those magnets in order to get the shutters to form the outside edges of the panel. You'll see another one's going to come in here in just a second. It's going to go through our cleaner and oiler. As it starts coming through, it's dry, ugly, it's all stripped up. There's a brush and an oiler that cleans it all off, and then sprays the oil down so that no guys ever have to touch it in order to clean it or oil it. It's a very good cost savings feature for us. You ready? bought, so we got no rights to it. Well, just to use it. I'd rather not, because that direction isn't the best way to take pictures. I never know you're taking a photo.
Never fair enough? Here, not here.
No, no, yeah. No.
Down.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Look at that, guys.
Straight
What's his
pull-up
name?
pressure, those magnets can hold over 2,000 pounds in shear pressure.
Wow.
You can't really lift one. You have to break it sideways and then slide them. Don't get your fingers between them.
Wow.
Our guys handle those magnets like they're candy bars, but don't be confused. They are very dangerous. Another important thing to notice is that where that robot is picking those magnets up from, those shutters and magnets come from where they're stripping on a conveyor. So all the guy has to do is load them on the other end, and they come into place. The robot knows which element is what.
My God.
Hi. What do you call it?
This?
It's got to have a name.
Old Betsy, she's too slow.
I'll bet
If you see, it doesn't move, it moves only in linear movement.
Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't like to, it doesn't like to move in this. And where it could be picking up a magnet, moving horizontally and also vertically at the same time, it's going to speed up by, I don't know, 25-30%. We've tried everything with the programmers, unit technique, and everybody else, and again, this is as fast as they'll go.
That's pretty fast.
The mechanics are capable of going a lot faster, actually.
Okay.
The software is a limiting element at this point, which is very frustrating.
Yeah, you think you'd fix that?
Let me just switch to the middle. Okay, I want to say one other quick thing while we're here. This is the section I So what we do is we take all the air out of that tank, open the gate, let the water come in, saturate the lightweight action. So we keep around 1 grit, 50 pounds. What we're looking for in a lightweight, 52 pounds, lightweight action. So,
I couldn't hear him.
so once we get
Sorry?
Talking about the aggregate bins.
Okay, yeah.
So fix a magnet up, the whole line of magnets moves along, so it's got the full row back of the couple
And you see this,
Those are all the magnets
no,
over
no, and the line is, you just come here,
Yeah.
by, and did you see that conveyor?
Yeah, taking all the
It
rubbish
takes
out.
all the rubbish,
Yeah.
and this grease this is the grease, the
degrease
mold was, my God, everything is amazing.
That's something that's new here.
It's too much.
Done it before.
To change this coming over there.
to accommodate our SCC mix. The original was a Weckerman 2-panel mixer type. I don't know if you've seen those before.
Yep.
And it was made more for low slump concrete. This just gives us the ability to control the flow without separating the matrix from the aggregates.
Okay.
What you'll see happen, the mixer will dump into that bucket. That bucket will come out this direction, and then it'll move on this set of rails right here. And while he's pouring, I'm going to need everybody to stay back behind the yellow lines there, just to make sure that there's no interference or any problems. So basically, this is the very last stage that we have to catching the errors with the facade. The position before is our final QC check, but our guy here at the pouring station always has the ability to override any panel to make sure that we catch any errors that could occur.
Can we take photos of the machine filling and doing the job?
Well, you won't see it fill.
No, I mean pouring the slab.
Yeah.
You have to give me a copy of this video when it's all done.
Here it comes. $100, no problem. $100.
We're just going to cancel our cement.
I will get you 2 copies then.
Can we get everybody to get back by the yellow lines?
Hey, I want to give you this magazine in addition to the other ones, so you have it, because you've got all the other ones, right?
Thank you very much. Right guy. Thanks.
Watch out, it's coming.
Wait. This magazine will cost me my head. Yes. We are allowed.
This direction, so just kind of hang out. At least stay behind this column line. I know everybody wants to see, but maybe as far forward as this column line. As you can see, it's coming out. It looks, from probably some of the other SCC mixes you've seen, this looks a little thick. You're thinking that doesn't flow all that well, but we've got an oscillating table over here that moves it. Instead of vibrating our tables, we move them in a semicircular fashion. And that allows the concrete to kind of flow in around any corners, anything like that, and really consolidate well around gaps like that. If you want to ask questions about mix design, refrain.
Okay.
I can't answer any questions about mix design. So, if you do want to know about mix design, don't ask me. Ask this man after you leave.
Why after you leave?
Because.
By phone? He has a mobile phone?
What?
He has a mobile phone?
Of course he does.
Okay, we can ask him.
Ask your secret representative.
That's okay.
Do you have
aggregates are different, so we have
do you have a program? Do you have a program to do the design?
absolutely different.
Manually? Really? Why?
That's 9mm strand, isn't it?
I know it's the PCI standard.
Is it topping going on?
Yeah.
I do have Pharrell's range, I think, but it's probably wrong. On floor, it's only the bottom. Okay, another thing that you're seeing in these panels, you see these red rods. After the second day of curing, and we'll see that afterwards.
He's taking sample, but small cylinders. Why?
Why are we doing what?
What's it? Shit. They're evaporating.
Okay, that's good. Close that up. Shaking stuff out. Sit. put in the machine, shake it up, kick it out.
To set up initially, what is?
I don't know the cost on this piece of machinery itself, but I can tell you one thing, that we're manufacturing this machinery in our fabricating shop for our next plant. Is anything you've seen here obsolete? Plant he's building 25 miles from here, that's the cat's meow. Okay? I don't think you can see much else from here, but just stay on this one.
That's always going to happen. I mean, it's so thin.
Actually,
you can't stop
that shouldn't happen. That means that there's something And basically, this panel will flip.
Do you think sound insulation Chris would be adequate on
Oh
this kind of
shit, yeah.
floor panel?
Yeah. Well, what? Oh no, actually, not from here.
We adjust them in this next stage down there, okay? And then after we adjust them, and this isn't something anybody else is using either. They're using a lot of fiberglass ones and other rods in Europe, but they're fixed lengths. They don't have the ability to change. So if anything were to get hung up or anything like that, or if they weren't tied in the exact right spot, they wouldn't have any ability to vary the height thereafter.
So you screw them around level up.
Holy!
That's for an election box. Hey, don't get your fingers stuck in there now.
How many you've lost? Any come off?
Never.
Never.
Every time you think, oh man, is that gonna hold? We've never lost one yet. If there's a question, like in this panel, they put that clamp on there just to be sure there's mechanical as well as. Now let me tell you something else. Each one of these, now it's upside down, each one of these yellow sensors there that you see, if it doesn't get vacuum pressure, it alerts the operator. So he knows exactly which one doesn't have pressure. Now the whole thing's going to start to go down slowly. Well, yeah, as soon as that one comes in. What? Yeah. Well, he just presses the button to make sure that nobody's in the way. You don't want anything going without intervention. Exactly.
You cast it the second part. The other part you cast it. And you put poly on and then.
Actually, we wait until they're both cured and then we put the plumbing. Oh, you mean you push the solid pan? Goes up there with the guy. He sprays the foam out.
Thank you very much, mate. Good man.
Okay, she's down. You'll see all the vacuums released now. Yeah. You'll hear popping like a. So stay to this direction over here. Just kind of get over here so we can allow the guys to do their work. Right there.
Then the yellow line's next.
Yellow line. Gotta stay over here now. Yellow line.
Not very noisy, is it?
This convenience of what they have
to the yellow line here. Yeah.
There she goes.
In our other plant, our newest plant, they'll have the ability to stress both halves at the same time, like traditional precast, and be in a mobile half.
That's a big one.
You have to come back. And that, but the cost of
What are the cracks? Oh shit, no.
Hey, you've just been documented.
Of what?
Can you film all this, Nick?
Sorry, man?
Can you film this?
Film this? Oh, okay, yeah. Documented doing what? Doing what? To the far. Explain again, the crane, how it works, that one stack and...
Yeah, sure. Basically a panel just comes in, it goes onto that crane that you saw through the window.
Yeah.
And after it goes through onto that crane, the computer software tells it which slots are open. It picks any one of those random slots, preferably the closest, which is what we like because it's the most efficient. It picks that one, puts the panel away, and then the guys program in for the whole day the production queue. So the computer will actually tell the crane what piece is supposed to come out next. So and then that crane will pick out the next piece to come out, send it out the outside, and it gets stripped everything from there after. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, man. It's gone.
This is probably good. All right, where can we go to do? Where are you going?
Just to, this is the crane.
In the winter.
Yeah.
We check tires.
Yes, yes, you can.
Try to get to this area and stay in this area. This is the safest part.
Oh, this is
You can get a little bit better feel for what it happens in here now as far as the storage goes. Kind of just take a quick peek and then rotate out so everybody can see it.
Okay, so let's take a photo and then go.
Everybody, you want to rotate through and come see the storage.
Yeah, this one.
There's 2 racks on that end. There's 3 racks on this end.
Okay, come. Anybody wanna come here? Rotate. Look.
This is the beach. Welcome to the beach.
This is exactly.
Yeah, we have the ability.
So this steam is like curing or what?
It's not what?
It's like curing?
It's helping to cure. Yeah, we keep the humidity and the temperature regulated to ensure curing.
This is stacking of the panels using this crane by computer software and then all automatic like
That's why you see the numbers on the answer. It okay, there's a mechanical arm on that crane. It goes out and grabs that. Where the number is, it's actually like a plane. Is regular 24 or 50. If it's not regular, it's with the fan. How do you ensure that it's okay. Every batch concrete that we make has to do something. And then we also there's only storage in here for 50. And in our playing field one, it's actually going to have 3 racks on each side and a height. What? The one in Plainfield, they won't make just half paint. They'll make full double strip paint. Set in these racks, and then they'll foam from the top. You've got a gun that has a heat blending. It mixes the poly and the isocyanurate together, mixing nozzle. Sprays liquid down on the panel, and then it expands 1,000 times up to fill the cavity. But we can complete consolidation of all products of the thermal break because there's a space where there's no insulation.
Yep.
In this, the insulation actually has a pretty high compressive strength. I'll show you a sample when we get back to the main room up there, but you can stand on it, you can step on it. It's really tough foam. It's not like EPS or anything else. It's really more of a plastic. Its chemical composition is very similar to a polyurethane or a polyester type fine, but it's got a blowing agent and it reacts different in order to expand. So Chemically it's similar, but it's still very different.
Can you explain again how this crane works? Because they didn't listen, they didn't...
Okay, a panel comes in from where those guys are checking it at.
Yeah.
It goes onto that rack. All right, let's make sure you stay pretty clear of this. This is gonna go all the way up to 85 degrees angle. So make sure you stay back. We've never had one slide off, but you also never know. It stands up to almost vertical. That way we don't have to put all the extra steel in there to overcome the bending stress of picking a panel. All you guys, I'm sure, are aware of bending stress. You see there's already some foam around the edges. Foam is two things. One, I'm losing my voice. One, it creates it. This is the 4th tour this week. It creates a dam so when they fill the rest of the panel, it doesn't overflow and break out the sides. It just fills a cavity and keeps expanding up until they can cut it off at the top. It eliminates a lot of waste, and it also makes sure that when we pour the grout into the joints in the field, that it doesn't flow into the open cavity of the panel. And the grout is contained in the pocket it's supposed to be in. No, this is just hanging by gravity. That's why I'm saying stay back. There's a table, and on the table there's a little edge, and that's all it's holding it right now. So what they'll do, they're gonna go up there, hook up to the crane, swing it over here, and then they'll start foaming. It'll be a couple of minutes, so we probably don't need to hang around to see that happen. After all that's done, they'll put it in the shipping, and they'll do a final patch and repair on it. We've had a couple of issues with our mixing computer over the last couple of days, so that's why those panels look like dog do. Yeah, that is a once in this year occurrence, and it's all due to computer issues, not to anything with the head mixers. Chris has been out here for the last 3 days, our SCC sales representative. He's been out here for the last 3 days helping us get back to zero and start over. And that was the way that we found out for sure. It had nothing to do with our mix, it was to do with our computer. So
what happens if one of those panels actually falls down?
Everybody goes down.
It depends when he is standing. If he's standing in the middle of this hole, no problem.
It's actually still, and all of our in-house engineers have designed this equipment to make sure, and they continually check over. We have checklists for maintenance and everything else that make sure that this, first of all, this mechanism, the limiting arm is the hydraulic cylinder, so it can never get past 85 degrees or 78 degrees, whatever it is. So we know that it's always going to be at its max arm, can't be too much to overcome the gravity of the bottom. Yeah, we're going to just, okay, we're going to just back off. This one's got form liners, so it's going to stick a little bit. They're going to use a crane to do some mechanical leverage. Let's come on back. And she's off. Yeah, Tom. All right, we're gonna head back up to that front conference room, up for about. You guys come on back this way. That panel's still hanging on the tree. Come on back.
Then say, come and say, nobody allowed here.
Yeah, that's still really dangerous right there. Please don't,
I know.
don't just
Thank you
wander
very
around.
much for your consent.
Hey, Dave.